It was a Friday night like any other, except the lake had other plans for us. When the water stirred, we realized we were no longer alone. We arrived just as the final rays of sunlight were slipping beyond the tree line. My brother and I unloaded our gear quietly. The sound of our boots on gravel and the soft rustle of the woods around felt sacred. The little rock formation by the shoreline, our secret time machine back to carefree youth, appeared just as we remembered it. I placed the live bait in the cooler. Crickets chirped, worms squirmed, and we positioned ourselves on the rocks, casting lines into the gentle water. The seclusion of the place, deep woods, few locals, only us two and nature, made it feel like our private realm. As dusk deepened, we settled into the rhythm. Cast, wait, reel. But then something caught my eye on the far shore. At first it was just a ripple, almost dismissible. But the lake was still, not a breeze in the air, and suddenly the water itself seemed to breathe. I nudged my brother and pointed. We strained our vision across the darkening surface. The ripple grew and moved against the pattern. We watched, silent, heartbeats syncing with the lake's whisper. Then it happened. A dark mass emerged from the depths, upright, too tall to be a fish, too slow, too deliberate to be a typical swimmer. My stomach dropped. My brother cursed quietly as the two of us realized simultaneously, this wasn't what we signed up for when we came to fish. The figure was halfway out of the water, looming, its head and shoulders visible, dripping water, silhouetted against the fading orange sky. For a long minute we did nothing but stare. Our fishing poles sat idle. All our usual jokes and chatter evaporated. Our minds tried to cope. Maybe a brave swimmer, maybe someone in trouble. But the way this person moved, swaying rhythmically like they were at home in the water, was wrong, and the coldness of the night began to creep under my skin. My brother muttered something about leaving, but we both hesitated, partly because of curiosity, partly because fear didn't yet feel real. Without warning, the figure sank beneath the surface. We watched the spot, eyes wide, waiting for a re-emergence. My brother pulled out his phone and started a stopwatch. 1 minute, 2 minutes. 3 seemed endless. I looked at him. He looked at me. Neither of us spoke. The water stayed still. The forest around us held its breath. Then ripples returned. Much closer this time. My very skin tingled. She came out again, this time far nearer. A young woman, the water clinging to her long brown hair. She wore a dark green swimsuit, and when she surfaced, she gave us a gentle, almost playful smile, as though inviting us to join her in this cold, secret world. The sight was surreal. Her beauty juxtaposed with the eerie setting made my heart pound. My brother asked why she was here. She answered simply, "Swimming." I asked if she was training. She said yes, and asked if we wanted to join. In that moment I felt danger. The invite felt wrong. I grabbed my brother's shoulder and told her we were leaving. She screamed. Her voice shattered the calm night. "No!" The scream morphed into a shriek like someone being stabbed. My body jolted. We moved before we thought. Running across the rocks, our gear forgotten. Behind us, the lake answered with splashing. We reached the car, the engine roaring to life. The scream faded, but still echoed in my head. We didn't report it, partly because we felt foolish, partly because the memory felt too fragile. We returned a few times with our dad, once or twice, but the woman never appeared again. The lake felt changed after that. What I once considered innocent fun now felt like a doorway to something unknown. Did she live nearby? Was she lost? Or was she something else entirely? I tell myself she was mentally ill, searching the lake for solace. But late at night, when I remember the silent forest and the dark water, I know I saw more than that. Something watched us, and we left. What started as a peaceful kayak ride into a shallow marsh turned into a nightmare that neither of us will ever shake. It was early spring, and it was still cold in the air. My friend Angel and I loaded up the two-person kayak with rods and tackle boxes and bundled ourselves in fleece jackets. We slipped the kayak into the marsh waters, shallow enough to see reeds and submerged roots beneath the surface. The sky was gray, the mist hovered low, and the only sound was the gentle paddle slicing through the glassy water. I remember thinking how perfect it was. No one else around, just us and nature. Prompt. Image. Two friends kayak in a shallow marsh in the early morning mist fishing gear. After around an hour of fishing for speckled trout, Angel got excited about a bite. Leaning over the side to reel it in, his jacket pocket betrayed him. His phone slipped out and plunged into murky marsh water. My heart sank. The water was too muddy to see anything clearly. Angel cursed quietly, frustrated not just about the phone, but because we were so far in and cold out. He said the replacement would cost hundreds. We both sighed and decided to try retrieving it. We paddled closer to the spot. Angel took off his shoes and pants. I watched from the kayak, uneasy. He waded in knee-deep, feeling around with his feet through the mud and roots. The water was colder than expected, the mud pulling at his legs. My breath caught when I realized he was stepping deeper. I shouted a few times for him to come back, but his stubbornness won. He kept probing the black water as dusk crept in, shadows lengthening. Then, silence. No splash, no movement. My heart stopped. Minutes passed. I prepared to jump in, but just before I could, Angel burst up from the water, screaming. He was covered in muck, his eyes wide with shock. He told me something grabbed his ankle beneath the water, wrapped around him with strength, and dragged him downward. He kicked and struggled until he broke free. I helped him back into the kayak. Fear clung to the air. We didn't fish anymore that night. The marsh around us felt huge and hungry. I paddled us out as fast as I could, Angel trembling beside me, still soaked. He kept looking over his shoulder as though something followed. The reeds whispered. The water rippled for no reason. We reached the launch point and hauled the kayak out. The cold air hit us like a wall. We didn't speak. We just moved. Back on dry ground, warmth didn't return to our bones for hours. Angel declined even to check his wetsuit for his phone. "It's gone," he said quietly. "And what grabbed me isn't any fish I've known." He refused to go back. I didn't blame him. I still visit marshes sometimes, but that spot, that dark patch of water, gives me chills. Every time I fish near marsh reeds, I think about what lurks beneath. And I know one thing for sure: some waters keep secrets. What seemed like a harmless weekend escape by a hidden reservoir turned into one of the most terrifying nights of our lives. It was a Saturday evening, with the sky brushing shades of purple and charcoal. My friends, Kat, Nick, and Megan, and I piled into the car, excited for a night of fishing, music, and laughs. We drove about 10 minutes out of Megan's house, then walked through the woods behind her neighborhood until we found the small reservoir. It was surrounded by thick trees on 3 sides and a narrow access road on the 4th. We'd visited it before. We joked about how we'd hacked the fence to get in. The sand beach and flat rocks made it perfect for chilling and casting lines. Nick and I immediately set up our rods. even though we both knew we were mostly there for the vibe. The girls spread a blanket and put out snacks and drinks, and the mellow soundtrack of their music drifted across the water. As the sun dropped lower, Kat squinted toward the shoreline and asked if we saw a canoe wedged among the reeds. We all looked. There it was, positioned oddly, as though abandoned in a hurry. Inside, a fishing rod, an open tackle box, and a half-eaten sandwich wrapped in plastic. But no person around. Then I noticed something else. The phone. Locked, flashlight on, sitting in the canoe. We approached. The girls stayed back. The canoe had obviously been used recently, not just drifted. Nick picked up the phone and examined it. Me? I stared at the water, at the dark tree line, at the still surface. My mind raced. Who was here? Why leave the phone and the sandwich? The laugh we shared faded. A gust of wind brushed the trees. A few leaves dropped onto the water. The reservoir's calm feel shifted from freedom to caution. We rejoined our friends and told them what we found. The girls frowned. Kat said she wanted to leave. As we packed some stuff, Megan gasped and pointed at the far side of the reservoir. I turned and saw a figure standing knee-deep in the water, facing us directly. In the near darkness, we could just make it out. And what's worse, the thing didn't move. It simply watched. A fishing rod or stick in its hand, standing perfectly still. Panic dug into me. The joke spot we had felt suddenly wrong, like a trap. Before we could react, the figure shouted, a rough voice telling us to get out. We started walking fast toward the fence hole, hugging our gear. Then, the figure stepped into deeper water and began swimming across the reservoir toward us. My heart screamed, "Run!" We sprinted, crawling through the hole in the fence, ducking under tree branches, adrenaline burning. I heard water splashing behind us, louder with each stroke. We made it to the car, jumped in, engine roaring. We drove off, the forest's hush replaced by our ragged breaths and pounding hearts. Back in Megan's driveway, we sat in silence. Kat trembled. Nick tried to calm her down. I stared at the rearview mirror thinking, what if he had caught us? What if the canoe belonged to that figure? Or what if they had done something to whoever left it? We never went back. The reservoir's image haunts me. The dark water, that still watcher, the abandoned canoe. Some places aren't just quiet, they're waiting, and we left without answers.